In order to assess the skills needed to be covered in future learning, self-assessment or external evaluation of skills is needed. That can be done by answering questions such as, how can members of one's background, be it family, teachers, tutors, peers, help the learner or work together to coordinate his or her learning process? What are the methods or learning patterns that the learner can follow or apply to improve his or her current learning process? Does the learner have a will to learn and proper motivation? What manuals or textbooks, sources and indicators can the learner be provided with during the process of learning? How can learning become tailor-made for the learner? What are the common mistakes in the learning process so far? How can present learning be evaluated? Unfortunately, all sorts of obstacles appear in our process of learning. Basic obstacles can be divided into different categories. Social obstacles, for example, such as family background and peer pressure affecting progress in our process of learning. Educational obstacles, for example, lack of confidence in the results, lack of proper examples of the learning process, lack of language skills to complete initial learning or even early school leaving. Geographic obstacles refer to the negative influence of environment, isolation of accommodation place, difficult access to schools and means of transportation, or war zones. Economic obstacles refer to lack of financial resources to cover transportation to school, to buy textbooks or other resources, to buy necessary equipment for learning. Also, it involves lack of money to provide the necessary diet for learning or additional help for the learner. Cultural obstacles can be seen as low priority given to learning because of other family priorities. Large Roma families are a good example of these. Health obstacles such as chronic diseases also affect our learning. Disability is another possible obstacle. Lack of accessibility to school environment, lack of proper help due to individual learning. But there are also other obstacles that can be identified, such as lack of time to learn, lack of family support, lack of patience, lack of research and sources, lack of inspiration, or stress. Edgar Dale's cone of learning is a classic example. In a nutshell, the idea behind it is that in order to efficiently learn something and remember it, we should involve in active learning. Just reading some material or listening to the teacher won't help us remember much when the class is over. If what we read and what we listen to is accompanied by some visuals, or we have the chance to watch a demonstration, a documentary, or podcast, we retain up to 50% of what is presented to us. But so far, our involvement is only a passive one. In order to maximize our learning experience, we should actively participate in class discussion, give presentations, or simulate real experiences. Only then will we be able to really understand and internalize new knowledge. There is no doubt that we are living in a fast-changing world. Education and learning are not in the least excluded from this process. Our parents' generation was not very different from our grandparents regarding learning processes. Now, irrespective of geographical location, our generation is already different. Depending on the country, the process of going away from the blackboard and chalk method differed in years and advancement, but there is no doubt that we are drifting further and further away from it. Internet development brought about essential changes in the process of learning. According to Hoffman, learning to learn is the ability to organize one's own learning, including through effective management of time and information, both individually and in groups. This competence includes awareness of one's learning process and needs, identifying available opportunities, and the ability to overcome obstacles in order to learn successfully. Competence comprises three main elements: knowledge, skills, and attitude. Knowledge is about knowing. Words, ideas, definitions, concepts, principles, rules, procedures, reasoning. Skills are about doing. Dexterity, artistry, precision, finesse, flair, virtuosity. While attitude is about being. Acting while employing a certain behavior based on certain values. Learning approaches have always been under analysis in education. We would like to present to you three of them as stated in the scientific literature. Deep learning implies examining new facts and ideas critically and tying them into existing cognitive structures and making numerous links between ideas. On the other hand, surface learning is accepting new facts and ideas uncritically and attempting to store them as isolated, unconnected items. However, strategic learning implies targeting the learning process towards achieving maximum academic performance by the objective means of grading. Deep approach to learning, and especially strategic approach to learning, involve good knowledge of the tasks and of the ways of solving them efficiently. They also mean good planning skills, the monitoring and assessment of the resources and processes involved in learning. Good luck and never stop learning.